right, good morning, good morning. We are just getting the Discord set up here. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X again, and Kick. So let's go ahead and jump on that live stream, get up on the stage, and I can talk to my friends. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. We'll give everyone a little bit of time to roll in. Is everyone able to see hear my voice first, and then we'll deal with the screen after. Let me get that screen share started. All right, I think so. Are you guys see my screen, my face, my camera, my chart? Should see IVVD, I hope. Morning, Kenny Penny. Good morning, Duco, Carrie, NTN, Duco, the doctor, Scuda. Croyfish, there he is. What's going on, buddy? Oh, we got so many people. Yekel, is that? I thought that was Breckle. Is it a relative of Breckle? There's Yojo. How's it going? Good morning. Happy Tuesday. J-Wag. It's Pookie time. Yes. This is oh yeah, you know what? Let me get you guys that link. What do you guys trying to think? Do you guys maybe want X instead so that there's less delay? Or was the YouTube okay from what you could tell? I don't know how much the delay is on that. So I don't want to mess with you guys. But I do want you to have a backup in case Discord gets funky. Let me just put the YouTube link in here for now, just for you guys. And we'll go from there. Let me just copy that. God, my browser's so slow today. All right, so there is the YouTube link. If you guys have any tech issues with Discord, if you lose audio, if the screen's too blurry, whatever it is, we just keep running into obstacles with Discord, unfortunately. And I hate that it is that way for you guys, but we'll give everyone else a little more opportunity to roll in here. But you guys can use that link as a backup, just so that you don't miss out too much, at least on the rambling that I do. Yeah, thank you, J-Wag. That's a good, thanks for bringing that up. Duco, I still can't figure out how X works. Such a trash platform. I agree. I hate X. Like, I don't get it. I miss my, I like my memes. I like the Facebook. I like being able to, have multiple different types of React. X just seems like a echo chamber at this point too. Bracco says it's because you touch yourself at night. Yeah, I second that. I agree. That's probably why. Occam's razor and whatnot. You're not focused. All right, let me switch the runner list over to pre-market. So this morning we got a little bit of the same that we had yesterday. So yesterday we had kind of inconsistent volume. It was a lot of sawtooth. This is already more consistent, at least from 8 to 9 a.m. On this one here. It's the only one that's up triple digits so far, percentages. This is also, just so everyone knows, it's a small cash account. I have $46.81, and I also have, just pull this up over here if I can. I have this little P&L tracker, so I'm going to be filling this out and sharing it at the end of each day, or just updating it so that, for 100% transparency like we do. And then we'll go from there, just because I can't make those videos every single day, unfortunately. I just get too busy these days. So I'm kind of just keeping an eye on things early this morning. I don't see a bunch of volume, and that always kind of worries me a little bit on, earlier in the week as well, at least. A lot of these are up double digits, but the volume is just trash. So STKH has triple, it's got a 1 to 3 volume market cap ratio, or market cap to volume ratio. So this is one I'll be keeping an eye on. It's getting abnormal volume, but even that is still very, very low volume. These are like 8 to maybe 20K candles in terms of volume. And this one here is 60K, which is great, but it needs to sustain. So this is kind of the kickoff. Now we got to watch them run the ball. BENF has a 1 to 2 ratio, but it's not going anywhere. Yeah, so it's just one of those, just that time of year, guys. We're heading into September, school's back in, season change, institutional change. Oh, hey, Alarm Clock, how you doing, buddy? He's got his own list of complaints about the change in the year. So let's just keep an eye on stuff. IXHL is running, but I can't trade this one on this account till it gets over $1 because, again, I'm on $46.81 account, which means I need 100 of each, 100 shares of a stock that's below $1, which I just can't swing if it's a 70 or 90 cent stock at this point because I need $92. And the reason I'm on this small account, so we trimmed it, took a little bit of a hit on SPX, which is fine, but I want to demonstrate that it is possible. And I can't use the word easy, but it's not much different in terms of the approach, even on these smaller accounts. So I just need to be a little more selective about the type of stuff I trade. Like, for example, I can't trade a 90 cent stock or a 60 cent stock. And that's just a limitation. So it's not that bad. You know, it's just like being on a margin account. You're limited to the number of day trades you can have, for example. So for this one here, this is ALLR. I'm going to go ahead and look for a 50% buy as soon as we get over 197. I'm going to go ahead and take a risky entry here if I can get filled. I don't know if I'm going to get filled. I might miss this entry if it goes. Okay, so I got filled. Going to set my sell order up immediately just because I don't trust the morning. And as always, I'm okay with a little bit of whipsawing here, but I don't want it to lose this low here, right? The idea is that it goes up. That's all I care about. And if it goes down, I push this button right here and it all goes away. So that's just the nature of the market. So my job is to protect my profits. Hey, what's going on, JWAG? I see you on YouTube over there. How's it going? Feeling lonely? We got me here, buddy. Yeah, no, I see why you're lonely now. All right, so let's just keep an eye on this one. Now, this one had an initial approach to the 197 level here, 196 level, but it needs to push and it needs to keep going. So I like the setup on the order book. There is a larger wall down here at 180, so I don't want to get caught in that, but I kind of like what it's doing here. It just needs to get some more volume, right? So we had an initial pop in volume, and we just got to let it rip over too, basically. So I'm just going to draw out some levels here. We got a previous high at 208, pre-market high. We got a big quote unquote psychological resistance at $2. So let's draw that. We've been over $2 quite a bit already. And we'll just watch and see where this goes. So for those who are new, I use two 50% trades, meaning I put half the portfolio in two trades. First trade 50%, second trade about 45%, just so I don't get caught in insufficient fund territory when I'm trying to get an entry. And then my daily goal is usually about 3%. Obviously, when I'm on these streams, I go a little bit more or less because I want to just make sure you guys get plenty of access to trades. Yes, sorry, this is ALLR. Let me put that in the chat here for you guys in Discord. If you're not in the Discord, let me put that link here as well on the social medias. And then it sounded old, the social medias. And then you guys can hop in here and watch it real time without the delay of watching it on social media. And as always, I don't encourage anyone to copy trade. I'm showing you guys what I do and how I do it and walking you through my mindset so that you guys can develop your own skill set and your own confidence. And then you don't have to wait for anyone else to tell you what to do. So JWAG, it's ALLR. Let me put that in the chat as well. Sorry, it's a little bit of a weird one there. What was the one yesterday I was having trouble with? It was IXHR or something. I just couldn't get the letters right. It was weird. It was a rough morning. IXRH, whatever it was. I just kept messing it up. It was great. So we're currently about 2% up, 2.5%. It's kind of plateauing a little bit here, but I like this. I like seeing that there's some sustenance in the volume. We got a bigger wall here at 203. It just needs to keep pushing. That's all. You know, that volume has to come in. We are in auction cross in about 30 seconds. So that is the opportunity to get that volume. And in an ideal world, that volume pushes this price to the upside and not the downside. So in terms of Ekaneshi, we're good so far, but we just got to wait and see if that sustains. So I'm just going to keep my mouse right there on that button. And then again, if it breaks below my 190 previous low here, my higher validated low, then I'll just stop out and take the small hit and move to the next trade. Probably take that one after market open because I try to take one before and one after, but sometimes we adapt a little bit depending on how the market is. All right, so we're starting to see a little bit push-pull here. The time in sales is speeding up. I don't quite see a lot of magnitude yet. And I'm seeing a lot of green, which means it's being filled on the bid, which is pulling the price down a little bit. So I really want to see ask fills come in and just slam this to the upside, but scratch my arm real fast. We are in auction cross, so I need to be careful about which way this pushes the price. And it looks like it might want to come down. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep an eye on this. And that's just the nature of the beast sometimes, right? So it held 190 before. It came down here, tested this level before. So this is not new territory. And then it pushed up from there. So as long as it does that again, we're in good shape. We get a nice little buy up and then we pop over a new high. Otherwise, if it fails this level, I don't want to be in it. So while that's cooking, I'm just going to go ahead and keep an eye on everything else over here. I can't trade SATS. It's a $55 stock and I have $46, but I have about $23 to trade with right now because I have half the portfolio committed to another trade, and then I'd have to do the settled fund. So it doesn't look like there's a whole lot I'll be able to trade this morning except for ALLR so far. So we'll have to wait and see what we get. What is everyone else doing this morning? How's everyone's morning going so far? Is anybody stuck at work right now? Yeah, Charlie J-Wagon, Duco typing right away. Oh no. Bebnet always stuck at work. Are you being trafficked? Is it like are you in a legal job, or is it, did they just capture you? That's not good. I was just trying to survive. Okay. Well, that didn't really help. I mean, all right. Duco, still waiting for my parts to come in. Wish I was at work. Poor man problems. Yeah, that sucks, dude. Snowflake, are you about to attack me? No, I would never. Why would I attack you, Snowflake? You're perfect. Just the way you are. Sorry, I'm trying to like read the chat over here on this monitor and also look at the stock to make sure I don't mess this up if I have to cut it. JWAG, I do have a load of document scanning today and accounting stuff for a charity I help out. Okay, going to be a pain. Well, charity is charity. We got to give and then give some more, right? Be skeptical of my my intentions to not attack you, sir. Yeah, when you work from home, you're always stuck at work. Work always here, so always doing it. Absolutely, and that's something that took me a while to kind of figure out. Is that when I worked from home, I was doing like software development and stuff. I had to make sure to force myself to have office hours, and I didn't have anyone to tell me to do that. And I definitely let work take over. That was not good. So yeah, don't do that to yourself. You got to make sure, and even just like having a dedicated space, like if you're using your work computer as, the same personal computer, it gets very difficult to separate the two because you always have one or the other right in front of you. And most people just focus on keeping the personal stuff out of work hours and work time. But when you're like, 10 o'clock at night and you're just doing whatever on your own, then like trying to watch Netflix or something, I'll just take a peek at this. And then boom, you're doing work till midnight, so it can be very difficult if you don't have those clear boundaries in place. What's up, Crispy? Welcome back. Hey, let's rock. Oh, man, I miss Married to Children. That's good times. So for those who are newer to the stream, I'm an ALLR. We got an entry at 196 and we're just watching it. That's all we're doing. My job is not to constantly monitor this and stress out and try to influence the end result. My job is simply to let it play out and then push the button when it's time to push the button. I just have to listen to my previous self who got me into this trade and not try to override them. So hopefully, and I want to keep the camera on for a lot of these too, just so you guys can see how like little stress there should be in all this stuff. Like this is just a few minutes of focus, quote unquote, but it's not it's not work for me. This is a side hustle. So that's my goal, is I want that for each of you guys. Now the market does open in 6 minutes or 6 seconds. Sorry, 4, 3, 2, 1. When it does open, I'm okay with a little volatility personally, but there's nothing wrong with just setting a target and or a stop loss, because at this point stop losses will work. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this order, and I'm just going to manually sell these shares up or down, but I'm okay. So at this point, I'm going to remove this because the market is open. There's a slightly different strategy that I'm going to use. It doesn't look like it's going down just yet anyway, but that is my personal approach to market open. So if you're someone who wants those stop losses to stay in place, absolutely keep them in place. I just personally am okay with a little bit of violence. And that's okay. I accept that before I get into these pre-market trades. Okay. What I don't want to do is hold the stock all the way down here to like $1.40 and then say it's going to come back. Yeah. Or worse yet, add a bunch of money to it. Also, let me switch this over to the day so then I can see kind of what's going on in the market as the market opens. All right. So this one here looks like it might be getting bought up, but again, I can't trade this one. This is SATS because it's a small cash account and I don't have enough to buy at least even one share. So just going to keep an eye on my ALLR. I'll zoom in a little bit just so you guys can see it a little more clearly. And I'm pushing for a move over 208, but it's having a little bit of a push and pull here. So I still like what I see in the order book. I still like the time and sales. It's ramping up and I'm seeing bigger orders, which is good. There's the red, white, and green mix. Now I want to see a flush of red followed by a huge wave of green. Okay, there's a flush of red. Let's see if we get a huge wave of green. Nope, not yet. There's another flush of red. And let's see if it's going to catch support here and get bought up. There's a good chop up, 2 chops up, 3 chops up. So this should go up in my opinion. So I'm okay with this. I really want to see that flush of red and then a wave of green though. I kind of went over this yesterday in the premium stream. Or was it the lifetime stream? I think it was a premium stream. What I look for in the time and sales specifically, and kind of the reasons why and how it, you know, the market mechanisms and kind of how it pushes the mid price, right, up and down. So we popped over 208 here. We're about 6% up. So at this point, I'm 3% up for the day. I've hit my target for the day. I can walk away. And if I wasn't streaming and showing you guys the stuff, that's exactly what I do. But I am streaming and I want you guys to see a little bit more. So we're going to go ahead and get ready to lock in about 75% of the shares on the next pump. We'll see where that is. I'd like to shoot for, you know, over 10%, but I don't want to be greedy either. So over 213, I might look to grab some. So I'm going to hold control and I'm going to press 2 to sell 75% of the shares, which would be 9 shares. Okay. And I'd like to do that over 213, but I'm watching the order book here. It did touch 213. There were fills at 213, but I'd like to see it break over that level. So there's 213 wall getting chopped and we're good. And let's see if we can get that. Just a little, boop. That's all I want. But whether or not we get it is not up to me. The good news about a morning like this is there's only a couple of stocks that are likely to get all the volume for the morning. So that's good for us. Duco just got off a phone call, got out 75% at 210. Good stuff, man. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to go ahead and lock 75% of the shares right here around 210. I got filled at 209. I just don't like what it's doing here just yet. So we'll go ahead and wait. We'll sell the rest of them. I'm 3.5% up for the day. I don't have any stress. There's no reason to worry about losing anything at this point. I'm just talking a lot because it's like moving fast. Charlie, checking my position, smoothing my routine, trying to get a little something out of the market in August before I don't trade September. It kicked my butt last year, and I'm pretty sure I promised myself not to trade this month. That's understandable. And what I might do here, let me move this. So basically, I'm enabling this, and I'm setting my quantity to 45%. I'm going to roll this one up, and we're going to trade. Well, I'm going to trade a break over 213 because I like what it's doing. I just have to wait for that support to come in. So if we get a break over 213, 214, if this gets bought back up and I don't see another competitor here coming for the crown, I'll go ahead and roll this one back up to the upside. But we're going to be a little bit more patient. I'm going to go ahead and go ahead and jump out of there for right now. So I exited my shares. Did not like that. So we'll wait and we'll grab the next one here. So I'm going to enable this 45% quantity settings. And then that way, when I get back in, it's going to use 50% of the cash that I have on this account, which is my second trade. So at this point, I'm just shy of the 3%. And that's okay. Like, that's good enough. I can walk away. But again, I'm trading and I'm live streaming. So I want to show you guys kind of how I do stuff. STKH has a beautiful setup here. If you look at this, the volume to market cap ratio is like 12 to 1. But I can't trade this one because it's 82 cents and I don't have $82 on this account. But this is absolutely one that I'd be watching. So we'll see if this one gets over $1. Beautiful structure here. PFSA has a 1 to 3 ratio, so I got to wait a little bit, right? That's got to go up or down, but can't trade it, and that's okay. Duco says, used a quarter of my portfolio on that trade, up 2.17% for the day. Not bad. Good stuff, man. So are you done for the day? Ooh, I like what it's doing here. Going to wait just a little bit longer on this one. I want to see what it's doing to these walls right here. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get in again. ALLR, and I'm going to disable this quantity settings button. Now, again, I'm okay with some violence, a little volatility, but it needs to sustain this volume here. So there's a couple things I'm looking at. I'm looking at the order book here, specifically the 213 wall, it's 27K. I'm looking at the time and sales, and I'm also looking at these guys over here, specifically STKH and PFSA, right? So I'm just keeping an eye on these, and we'll see where this goes. So I'm okay with all three of those stocks, but I can only trade one of them right now. So that's all we're doing, or that's all I'm doing, I should say. Most likely won't have time to trade later. Well, what you've done is you've locked in a profit that can compound nicely over the 250 trading sessions there are in a year, and you can walk away without giving that back. So I think that's great risk management, personally. What's up, Sailor Brown? How you doing? Yes, Paul C on YouTube. This is Weeble. I have I'm using the dark mode, and I changed the colors of the candles and stuff like that. Sorry, I just saw that chat over there. WFH for you today. Let's take a look. I like WFH. Don't like it on the 1 minute. Or you're working from home, you mean? Okay. I was going to say we've traded this one, you know, a while ago, but it's only good for like higher time frames, if that's what you're referencing. But then I just realized you're talking about working from home. So it's one of those days. So we get a little wedge forming as well. So for those who maybe are unfamiliar with wedges, it is just a compression and release pattern. Not to be blindly subscribed to, but it is. It shows you the push and pull between supply and demand, and eventually one of those gets depleted, right, as the lines converge, and then there is a violation of that structure, and then we typically see a violent break one direction or the other. Now, sometimes we also see a break and then a fake out, and then a run in the other direction. So I'm going to sip some Monster while this sells off down to $1. Delicious. And then we'll go ahead and see where this wants to blast. Sailor Brown, how is Arizona right now, buddy? There was a member in Free from Arizona the other day. I wonder if you guys know each other. I'm just kidding. Wet. That doesn't sound like Arizona. What'd you do? What did you do? Did you leave your pool on again? Did you let it flood? Did you guys get slammed with the rain? Ooh. All right, let me just do another little round trip checky here. PFSA is pushing up a little bit, but again, I can't trade that one. HKPD is back on the radar. So this one, for those who aren't familiar, this one is a beautiful one when that volume is present. This one has massive pop and drop potential, but the downside with this one is that it has that massive drop potential. So we have to be very, very careful with that one because it does like to trap people. So I'd be very careful with that one. So ALLR is up to 220. So again, we're above 3%. I could just sell all this and walk away for the day, but we're going to go ahead and lock some profits here in a little bit. Lots of strength, lots of potential here. Now, what I do got to keep an eye on here is I don't want this to go into a halt. So it's about 5-6% right now. Let's see where that 10% would put that one. That would be about 230, just under 230. So you just got to be careful with the halts, especially on a day like today and a week like this, really, because the last 2 days the volume has been like sketchy as hell. So got to be very careful about this candle. Okay, that's good. So that candle did not halt. Probably going to lock 75% of my shares right here around just under 220. Got filled at, oh, what was that? Sorry. Got filled at 218 on that, on those 75% of the shares. So I have 3 shares left, up 4.3% for the day, and I can just walk away after this NVD, right? So, but I'd like to see it get over 230, maybe 240, 250. So we'll just let these ride out. Also, what I can do is I can sell 75% again of the 3 shares that I have. So I can just continually whittle away at these shares until I run out of shares rather than exiting completely. So let's do that. And we'll just hang out. So again, you know, the plan this morning, sorry, when we assessed the volume very briefly this morning, we identified the things that we could not trade, the things that we would not trade, and we narrowed it down to ALLR. And if you watch the recording, I said that's probably going to be the one that I'm going to trade and the only one I'm going to trade. And so far, we've been following that. So I feel okay about today. I've been entering when when my criteria is met. I've been exiting when my criteria is met, or when it stops doing the thing I want it to do, and we're protecting our profits, right? OPAD? Yeah, let's take a look at OPAD. I like OPAD. Now, I don't like this one for subsequent days. I always like this one on the first day. And the reason for that is because it just tends to blast. And I don't care about the company at all here. I don't like the underlying doesn't matter for this one. But second, third days are always choppy. A lot of times you'll get these big, massive spikes and these big dramatic pushes to the upside, and then it'll just give them back sometimes, like almost immediately. So it's good for opportunity in a lot of cases, but you have to be very careful with your entries and keep those risks nice and tiny if you don't want to have a hard time, right? So quote unquote worst case scenario is you burn through your settled funds, you know, but that's okay as well, because we don't want opportunity costs to get in our heads, but it does tend to take, you know, and you got to be very careful with that. So I'm going to draw this line at 230 here. I'm going to draw another one at 240 if I can. Okay. And then I'll draw another one here at 250, and then we'll just leave the lines alone at that point. And this will be the land of milk and honey. Yeah, milk and honey. I had to think about that one. That'll be where we're trying to get to. And then of course we always have our stop loss down here below 2, just in case, right? And I'm on 3 shares out of the 12 I originally had. So I've only got 25% of my original funds, which is like 12% of the portfolio, right? Because it's, well, yeah, no. Yeah, 12%, 12.5% of the portfolio. I had to do some math there in my brain. Because we used a just under half position for this one. Does anyone have any questions so far? Does the strategy make sense? The approach to the market make sense? Are you guys able to see how calm I am when I'm trading? I'm not losing my shit when something shows me a red candle or something like that. I'm not freaking out and smashing my keyboard or sitting here like praying and burning incense and hoping the stock goes up. You know, I just have a plan. It's going to go up or down, and that's all I need it to do. We're just trading with the volume and not against it. That's all. And I hit my 3% goal for the day, so I could walk away if I was a new trader and I just tuned into Pookie's stream and I just wanted to get my trade, and I saw a setup that I had confidence in, and I see that confirmation, and my position size is picked out, and I'm nice and emotionally centered, and I just push a button when it's time to push the button because the chart tells me to push the button, and then I push a button to get out because the chart tells me it's time to get out, and I just walk away. That's the end of my day right there. First trade, one and done. And then if I lose that trade, I have a second opportunity. And then if I lose that one, that's okay. My max loss should be nice and small, and my minimum profit should be greater than 0. So I feel like that would be a pretty good day. Oh, you guys are finally getting some monsoon rain in Arizona? Yeah, I can't picture it raining a lot. I mean, I'm sure it does happen. I know you guys have like flash floods and stuff, but it's just like any area like that. But it just doesn't. You know what? I blame cartoons. I think they've ruined me. I'm going to go ahead and exit this one. I don't like what it's doing. So I sold the final 3 shares at 210 right around my break even. I just don't want to get like right here. This could halt pretty easily. We're coming down to test the $2 level. That's when things get really sketchy. And then you don't want to get caught in a halt to the downside here on something that is this high up, because if we're zoomed in here, it doesn't look scary. But when I zoom out here, you realize I come all the way down here. You can lose an entire dollar here with chain halts. Just boom, 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 and then all the way down. And then before you know it, the company halts, and then they drop a news thing, and oh, look at that. They're going to do an offering, and then there goes your investment. So position size management, that is critical. And then trade management is also critical. But if your position sizing is what's protecting you, that kind of opens the door for, that automatically protects you in case the trade goes horribly wrong. HKPD, yeah, let's take a look. Ooh, I like this one. So again, this one I really like, but it likes to trap people as well. So that's a nice wall. It just got destroyed. I do like this one. I've traded the hell out of this one. It is a nice stock for just grabbing these massive runs and then getting the hell out. Right? Not to be confused with HKD. That's a different stock. But this one we've traded a bunch, and we always like to point to the downside as well. So, if we're watching this one, HKPD, and just kind of watching it go. Sorry, I'm kind of zoomed in too far. When this pulls back, I want to watch it. I want to see how it goes. Let me just turn these on as well. Oops, that's the wrong one. And I want to show you guys something. We could have gotten in down here around $1.20, 125 to 130 on this one when I was looking at it before, but I didn't like what I saw. Right? Not just yet. And the reason I say that is because it just has it's got a dramatic history when you try to trade those pops on inconsistent volume. So basically this little pullback here in volume, that's what broke it for me. If I switch back here and I turn off this stupid indicator, this spike in volume is good, but there was nothing after, right? So we'll watch what happens after this volume happens and this starts to pull back. Is we're going to probably see a lot more ask side fills, but on the way down. Right. And that's what we don't want. You got to think of the order book, more specifically, the bid and the ask. Think of it like taking a board, right? Crap, I wish I could just, let me just draw this. Who here has ever made like a balloon boat? You guys know what those are? Where you take a board and a balloon, and then you just put the balloon through the board. So it's like under the water, and then you just kind of open it, and it just spits out bubbles and it pushes the boat around in the water. It just propels it. That's exactly what the bid and the ask do. And I don't want to go super far down the rabbit hole on this like I did yesterday, but I want you guys to understand how the bid and ask actually work, because I feel like that's one of the most apparent misunderstandings that people have about the market. So instead of, a lot of people think that if you get a bunch of ask fills, and nothing but ask fills, that's sellers, right? So they're discouraged. They don't want to buy when they see a lot of stuff on the ask because they think the price is going to get pushed down. And they think when the bid is filled, the price is going to go up, right? Is that generally what people believe? Because they think that bid is buyers, ask is sellers. And they think here, when they see this, that, red is sellers, green is buyers, right? Well, let me ask you, who are they selling to and who are they buying from, right? It's got to be the other side of the equation. So these are exactly the same. It's just a matter of what order types and broker preference and all that other stuff. There's other mechanics at play. It's not just buyers and sellers on one side or the other. It's both. Every transaction here has a match. It's equal and opposite effect, just like Newton. So what I like to see is I want to see the ask get hit first, right? That needs to get hit first, because when it gets hit, this mid price here gets pulled in that direction very briefly, right? And that automatically is what I look for, because once that happens, right, you get a chain fill. This kind of pulls the price up. It pulls the mid price up. You get a series of small fills. And then what happens is the mid price, it's depleted on the ask side in the short term. And then what happens there is the bid side then starts to get filled. And that's when you see this whole thing just slam up towards the ask. And then it just goes up, up, up. But at this point, it's all bid fills. And that's where people get that perception from, that it's the bid fills that are buyers. Okay. So, sorry, I had a little detour there. So when you're looking at the market, you need to see the ask fills get filled first. And that's what we see when we see the volume threshold tests. And then we see those chain fills when the wall gets broken, right? So say we got a 30K wall here at $2. So let me just draw that line. Let me just erase all these other lines. Okay. So we've got this wall at $2. It's 35K now. What we would need to see is a wall of red come through the time and sales. And that would be all these small walls in front of $2, and then the $2 level or the bulk of it, and then a series of smaller walls after that. And that automatically just drags that bid price up extremely fast, right? It goes from 2 up to like 208 or 204 or something like that. And that's where those instant momentum pops come from. It's just a series of fills that happen. But when you look at the time and sales when that happens, the entire time and sales wall is usually red, and that's what people ignore. And then when they see what they want to see, when they see the price pushing up after that, then they look at the time and sales and they see it's green, which ironically holds the price back, if anything, after a while. So there's an evolution to the time and sales, and that's why I always say, I like to look for a good mix first, then speed, then magnitude. And when that series, that trifecta, the fire triangle is complete, then I like to look for a flash of red like that right there, just that little flash of red. And then the price jumps up very quickly. And then sometimes we see a pullback, and then the bid, right? Because that's all they ask resolving. And then the bid starts propelling it just like one of those little board boats. And that's when we see those massive moves in price. Okay, so if you're going to trade volume, you have to understand it. And that's what I think most people don't, they don't get a legitimate educational foundation in that. They just kind of get what someone on YouTube is kind of guessing about based on their own personal experience, but they don't actually look at how the exchanges work and how they match orders and things like that. So, this is always the last step to it. Volume is the final confirmation. I don't want anyone just to look at the time and sales and try to trade. I don't like doing it, and I don't think anyone should do it. It's possible, but it's not good. It's not efficient, and it's going to be very boring, right? So let me put I'm going to put a couple links in the chat here for you guys, and I want you guys to just check them out. There's no pressure. I'm just putting links in the chat here for you guys. But this is the kind of stuff where, having a coach can help you. I'm actually going to get into ALLR here. I like what it's doing. See this 205 wall? Now let's watch this time and sales. Let's watch for the flash of red, and then I'll talk about that link here in a second. Okay, there's a little cluster, nothing big. I'm looking for just a flush. There we go. There's a good flush. Now we'll watch for a wave of green, and then that price should last. So let's watch and see what that does. So with that link that I put in the chat, okay, that is it's an email sign up. So there's no pressure. It's just an email sign up. But we'll send you reminder emails for Lee Mad Maverick's live stream on Thursday morning that he does at Market Open. He's the equity coach. He teaches a little bit more robust strategy so that you can kind of make more sense of the candles. Because I've been doing this for a while, so I'm just kind of walking you guys through kind of what I do, but it's a little bit more complicated. So if you're looking just for a trading plan and for some simpler analysis, that's your guy. But that email will get you a reminder email, and it'll kind of describe who he is. And he has a coaching program, but that stream is absolutely free. If you're interested, we also have his coaching program, and those who are in Lifetime, you guys get access to it either way. Premium, you guys get to pick a coach. So most of you guys seem to have him right now. Some of you guys are with Bull as well. It's great for passive options and anyone who's just looking to get into the option side of things. But just starting with a coach, it doesn't really matter who right off the bat. So again, I'm not a sales guy. This isn't a sales pitch. I'm just putting it in front of you. in case you don't have a trading plan or someone to help you learn about the market. And because I didn't, my mentor made me lose 80% the first month to teach me a lesson about myself, which was good, but it wasn't necessary. So shame on him. I'm just kidding. But having a coach will help you tremendously. But my kind of golden rule is that if you have been losing $40 or more in the market each month, or if you expect to next month, it's at least worth getting some extra value and getting a coach. But again, there's no pressure. It's there when you get around to it. So it's up to you. So with that spiel out of the way, again, if you can use it, I want to put it in front of you. If not, it's all good. But I do have my 1 share of ALLR. I don't know how much settled cash I have on this account, so I'm just kind of winging it here with 1 share at a time. But we will walk through some entries, and then I want to also use a different strategy here. So down about 1.5%, 2% so far. If it goes below 2, I'll just exit, and then I can always re-enter as well. I'm just going to keep this checkbox enabled because it's 1 share at a time. So I have my control 2, control 3. If I want to set a sell order for the last price, I hit control 2. If I want to exit as a market or a stop, I just do control 3, and it just sells at market and fills whenever, whether it's to the upside or the downside. So I'm just going to go ahead and take another sip of Monster here because I just rambled a lot. Refreshing. So also, yeah, okay. I had to make sure I put that link on social so you guys can see it there as well. All right. So again, we're coming down to test $2. I don't want to hang out if it's below 2, so I'm just watching these fills here. 202, 201, 203, 202, 203. And for this, I'm just watching this corner right here. It's this little corner of my screen, 204, 205, 206. And let me, don't know if now's the best time. Maybe not. Nah, I don't think so. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. We're gonna be crazy today, boys. All right, so let me grab the baseline, and we'll set up the 205 midline here, and we'll kind of compress this down, and then we'll compress the price along the x-axis. Okay. So this is a tick chart. This is a baseline chart, so that the midline here is at 205, which is my average. I want the price to spend more time above it, so I kind of don't like it hanging out down here. Now this chart is, oh, there's a nice little plateau. This is the pullback. Let's see if it goes up from here. Nope, looks like it's going to pull down a little bit. Oh, there we go. Pleasant little surprise. There's a nice plateau. Little pullback and a slingshot. Bunch of these little plateaus on this guy. So this one has pretty good potential. We'll just see where it goes. You guys see that nice flat plateau like that? There's a pullback. And then I just want to see a break over that level right there at 210. Dark magic. What can I YOLO into? Coaching, buddy. Get you a coach. Still have a candle screen? I do. I see tick chart. Tick chart with a baseline. Did it freeze for you guys? Yeah. Yeah. It might just be Discord as well. Oh, okay. Yeah, you have Wi-Fi. Yeah, I gotta get an Ethernet connection for this computer too. I had it at the old house, and then we moved here. I just never installed a line, so I just got to run a line. I got to drill through like a closet and a roof, ceiling and stuff. And I just don't feel like doing that. But the good news is I can cap my own cord and stuff like that. I just don't want to do all that. So the hole doesn't have to be huge. So I don't like this little plateau here to the downside. So we got a little pullback here. So there's a range right here, basically. And I want to see that break up, not down. If it breaks down, I want to get out. If it breaks up, I'll stay in it. But that is a nice choppy range that I don't like. There we go. I'm out. No hesitation. I just sold my 1 share. I just don't want to get stuck in that as it's trying to make up its mind. And I can always get back in. So with that said, excuse me. Let me just switch back here, and I'll go back to the 1 minute and turn on my Heikin Ashies here. I'm going to erase all these other lines, and we're going to turn on the alligator. So right now I have a bearish stack, which means unless I'm a bearish trader, I would not be looking to get into this to the upside. So this chart is dark magic. Oh no, guys, we don't like dark magic. So this right here is screaming to me that we're bearish. So I will not be trading ALLR anymore this morning. HKPD, that gave us the second entry off this zone, but I'm not trading this one right now. So we're going to go ahead and wait a little bit, see what happens there. I was really hoping to see one of these guys over, where was the other one? BENF. I was really hoping to see this over $1. It pushed up to about 49 cents, and then it just fell off. So we never got that pushback over $1 on this one. And that's okay, right? Looks like we had it, I had it in my sights, after hours yesterday, but there was no sustained push. Okay, I could do with that one. ALLR, there's the spike to the downside. See, so if I switch this back, you guys can kind of see a red spike there. So that right there, if you guys are just, it doesn't matter what strategy you use. If you use something that tells you not to trade, don't trade. But we talked about that one in Lifetime yesterday. So I just want to do one more. If I can get another single share trade, I want to see if I can get one more squeezed out here. PTHL is not over $1. It did tap $1 earlier, but it didn't break over $1, so I can't touch that one. And it looks like I'll have to just kind of hang out and not be able to touch any of these other ones. So the only ones I can look at really is HKPD, sorry, and ALLR. So this one is over 215, 220. But I'm not quite seeing anything that I like. Now this one, the Lifetime members, you guys know that this is invalid, so we can't use that one. And you know why? I'm going to go ahead and keep an eye on ALLR. This is Matster's favorite. He likes his shorts. Matster, by the way, how did your trade work out? Did you get an alarm yet or no? Stopped out? Okay. Did the alarm tell you that, or did you stop out manually? Curious. Oh, I asked if you stopped out manually or if the alarm told you that you stopped out. Like, did you end up opening it back up? Alarm? Beautiful. That's perfect. Oh, it's a good day for you. How you feeling about that? No stress, no mess? I know you had the temptation side of things, but it was one of two outcomes, right? Not a third, more sinister option. Wish you would win. Yeah, I mean, that happens. But I think you've been doing enough winning, sir. I would say. Now you just have to let the wins actually fulfill their potential, right? You let the losses fulfill their potential, but you had a little bit of an obstacle there with the profit side, which is okay. And I'm not picking it. I'm not trying to call you out in front of people. I'm just, I wanted to follow up with you on that. And I appreciate you sharing because that helps everybody. So thank you. All right, so it looks like we can't really do a whole lot here just yet. So HKPD, remember, this one has so much potential to the upside. It's kind of stalling a little bit here, but this is the one that sells off drastically. So we got to be very careful about this one, and you can't trust, the trend on this one. It's just volume-based pops, and that's it. That's all you get with this one. As soon as that volume goes away, this whole thing just could be a bloodbath. And then ALLR, it's bearish, obviously. So we kind of identified when not to go long, right? And that saved us from this drawdown here, right? So we got out when the chart told us to get out when we were looking at it from here, right? We no longer had a valid entry. And then we switched over here to a slightly different strategy. And then the price looked bearish. We said, hey, we got a zone here to break. And then it broke. And then here we are. down here. So no point in trying to jump the gun on this one. This one here is not a valid threshold candle as well. So we just got to kind of hang out and wait. There's nothing I can do in the meantime, and there's nothing I have to do, right? So I'm up 3.57% for the day. Let me actually update that. Let me update this because I might just be done for the day. I think I do have to leave here pretty soon. But I want to update, what was the number on that? 4848. All right. So we're up 3.57% for the day on the small cash account, which is $1.67. You can see my 2 wins so far have been greater than $1.50, and my 1 loss overall for the day yesterday was 25 cents, right? So 3.82% up, 3.57% up, and then I gave less than a fraction of that back yesterday. Okay, so this is the goal, and this is what I want to demonstrate, or the 22nd, I'm sorry, that was last week. This and this were yesterday and today. So far for the week, I have a 0.5% loss and then 3.5. So I have 7 times that in profit. So 6 times that in profit overall. So 3.5% turns into about 3.04% overall up. And I got to update my streak so you guys can see that. Okay, so yesterday win, today win, and then I go over here to OBS and I turn it back off and then on. And then I get 2 green dots. Okay. Brutal trade. Do I do this every day? Yes. The only thing that I do, infinity mirror. The only thing that I don't do is I can't always stream it. So I used to do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday mornings. Monday and Friday were in premium, and then Tuesday, Thursday were free. But we really wanted Lee to have a free live stream because his content, his strategy helps people, and he breaks it down a lot more beginner friendly, you know? So I think that it's better that he does the Thursday stream. So that took away one of my free streams. So on Monday, I still stream in premium at market open. I still stream in lifetime in the afternoon. Tuesday morning, today, I stream in free for you guys. Wednesday and Thursday, I try to stream in lifetime when I can. But I can't always live stream it because I have so many calls and just things going on. So I don't always have time to, but I try to at least share it in the chats, you know, when I get into something. And please feel free to let me know, guys, if I ever like miss something, like if I don't update you guys on something, then I don't mean to. It just kind of happens, and I always feel bad if it does. But I try to update you guys as much as possible. So that's always in the lifetime side on Wednesday and Thursday. But sometimes I'll also be able to do like a pop-up and just stream. And then Friday morning I stream in premium, and that's where the other streams. Ooh, what do we got? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and grab. Oh, I can't. Yeah, that's okay. I wanted to grab a share of HKPD here, but I cannot. So let me just draw it out for you guys. Please don't copy trade. I'm just showing you guys something. Damn, that's okay. Just a quick little 1-to-2 ratio here. And a lot of people would be terrified to take an entry right here because it's so high up, quote unquote, overextended and all that good stuff. It is what it is, right? It was overextended back here. It was overextended back here, right? You can't let that mindset destroy you. If it's going to go up, it's going to go up. If it's going to go down, it's going to go down. You can't assume that you know where the top is going to be because you don't know where the bottom is going to be. You know, how many times have people tried to snipe the bottom only for it to go lower and lower and lower, and it's worked against you? So the same concept applies to trying to pick the top. If you believe you know where the top is, and that's preventing you from getting in because you think it's the top and it continues to go, your brain is going to weigh that completely differently from the exact same process, but upside down, you know? So you got to be very careful about your assumptions and the volume, right? So far, this is still pushing, right? The fact that it's above that entry point means there is still some pressure above where I assumed it would have been overextended, and, you know, that would have been the top, right? So it doesn't mean it's going to keep going, and it doesn't mean it's going to stop and reverse. It just means it's an opportunity, and a low risk opportunity where I control the pain, I control the amount of exposure. Now, this is a 6.73% risk. So this, in a perfect world, would be a 1% rule for position size, but we'll get to that later. Yeah, Rutu, I do this every day. I try to just do 2 trades a day. I try to keep it simple. Now, lately, like this week and I think late last week, I try to do like whatever extra settled cash I have. I'll do like one share here, one share there, just to show you guys the process, you know. But my bulk profits just come from those 2 trades a day. Get lifetime and get you Pookie every day. Oh no, that's too much. This family left him since we showed up. You guys are my family. I don't know. I don't know about that. You guys smell better. I'm just kidding. Let me make sure that door doesn't fly up when I get smacked. We have Lee and Tammy for that. Yes. Whatever you meant that in response to. Just yes. We have Lee and Tammy. But yeah, Monday, Tuesday. So Monday and Friday I stream in live stream. I stream in premium. And then Tuesday is my free live stream for you guys. And then I also have the Rags to Riches stream on Friday, but that's less live tradey. Market open is always Monday, Tuesday, Friday for me. So that also reminds me, if anybody doesn't have the link for Lee's live stream on Thursday, right? I just talked about how good it was, and then I forgot to put the link in front of you guys. Make sure you sign up for that if you haven't already. That's it's just an email sign up. There's no cost. There's no, it's not a gimmick. It's just so that we can send you a reminder email. And there's a couple descriptive emails about the coaching that he offers as well. So it's worth checking out. 0 commitment. It's just an email. So if you want it, you want it. If you don't, that's okay too. But I would suggest at least for that reminder email on Wednesday, because we send the actual YouTube link for the stream itself so that you don't miss it. And if you're here in the Discord, you know, I post it here and in socials. If you're in the Discord, you guys already know where to go. We have the event thing up in the corner, so you guys don't miss it either way. So with that said, it is almost 10:15 in the morning Eastern, and I do have to jump off here pretty soon, probably as soon as this one plays out. Does anybody have any questions before I jump out of here? And also, let me ask, has this one sold off dramatically yet? Probably as soon as I say that, right? This is how it goes when I stream. But no, it hasn't. In fact, it's challenged the high. It formed a new high, right? It formed a higher low, and it's pushing above that so far, right? It can change at any minute. But the worry, the concern that this would be the absolute top here on this candle, or that this candle would be the top, has been disproven simply by having price action above it, right? And that's one of those just irrational fears that come from a lack of understanding about the market. And that is the result of conditioning, and that conditioning is a result of YouTube gurus and stuff like that. So I don't like hearing that something is due for a pullback. I don't like hearing that something is, you know, quote unquote, overextended, unless it's someone that actually understands it saying it. The fact of the matter is price goes, right? It just goes in one direction until it stops, and then it goes in another direction until it stops. And sometimes it goes in no direction. And it's all based on circumstance. Like, we don't control any of that stuff. Dude, why is HKPD so volatile? It's just a garbage Chinese biotech. There's really no explanation other than it's a low float biotech trash stock. They don't have good financials. They don't have, unless they've changed something drastically. They don't have good catalyst pipeline. It's just because it's low float. It's just available. It's the booty call of the stock market. You know, it happens to be free on a Tuesday morning, and the market's looking to scratch an itch. So all the volume just goes one place, or 2 places, or 3 places. And the herd of volume just kind of moves around, right? So when this one falls off, this volume, these algos will pull off. They'll go to another stock that's on this list here, ideally. Probably ALLR, or potentially IVVD, or STKH, probably one of those 3. We don't know. And then it'll just go, and the volume will just kind of move around like a little cloud. And our job is to locate and identify it, but not chase it, because you don't want to get in, you know, as the volume is falling off. You want to get in when there's a high potential, low risk opportunity, and then the volume steps in to fulfill that opportunity. You don't want to get in as the volume is, you know, starting to die, basically. So, and you don't know when that's going to happen. So that's why we have stop losses, like you saw it today, both of my bigger trades, right? What happened? The price went up a little bit. I sold the bulk of my shares to guarantee a net profit. Then the price immediately came down to my stop loss or my break even, right? And then I stopped out because I didn't like it going the other way. Remember, my job as a trader is to find low risk, high potential opportunities and to wait until the price is going the direction it's going to make me money, and then getting in when it starts going that direction and getting out if it stops going that direction. Does that make sense? Like those are my as Jerome Powell says, those are my dual mandates, right? I've got two parts of me. The first part, his sole focus, his sole job is to find those low risk, high potential opportunities and to push the button when the market says it's time to push the button, right? And that's the only technical analysis I should ever do. And it should be simple and stress-free, okay? And then that's the employee part of the company. And I talked about this, I think, on the Monday stream as well. That's the employee, right? His job is just to kind of do some grunt work. And then as soon as that button's pushed, it's the owner's job to take that employee into the office and have a performance review and keep him in that office, chain him to a desk, chain him to a radiator, turn the radiator on, it doesn't matter, knock him unconscious, do anything you got to do to make sure he doesn't come back out and push buttons ahead of time, because the owner of that company, which is you, your job is to make sure that you protect the money that that employee has committed to this opportunity, which think of it like a client, right? You want to land the client, you want to get paid, you want to have a successful project, but you don't want the employee to go disrupt that process, right? So sometimes deals fall apart and that's okay. That's the cost of doing business. But it has to fall apart because of the client. It can't fall apart because your employee can't control himself. And that's your job as an owner, is to keep him from messing everything up. So in this case, this one stopped out. So it would be the owner's job to cut that immediately, right here, right at the bottom of that candle, 208 or 1 cent below, right? If the client or the trade went the other direction, right, 2 times that same range, then the owner's job would be to cut the position as well. You're done with the client. You don't want to hang out with the client, go to their house and move in with their family. Your job is just to get out, take the money and run, move on to the next client. Does that make sense? But if your employee is over here, calling the client every 5 seconds, say, hey buddy, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? And shoving, PowerPoints at them, you're not going to have a good time. Okay. Your employee's doing way more work than you're paying him to do. And his job is done as soon as that button's pushed. So you, as an individual, have to have these two selves kind of shoved into your body and your brain. And then you have to set that clear boundary and be like, hey, you did a great job so far. Let's review it. And then stop doing things, right? Because that's how we talk ourselves out of trades. Okay. So I got to hop off of here, but if that helped clarify things, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat just so I know the kind of stuff you guys need and like to hear, even if they're not the same. And a 2 if that didn't quite make sense, or maybe the analogy was a little too confusing. Getting a bunch of 1s so far. Okay, thank you. I want to make sure that the analogies I use kind of resonate with you guys. And this right here is why we get out too, because if the owner failed to act right there, you've got all this extra loss that you're going to have to write off, but you don't need to, right? It's unnecessary loss. So, there's a cost of doing business. Our job is to help you get a discount. Pay as little as possible to the market. And then, of course, you collect data and study yourself and all that. So thank you all for the stream. Let me cut off the live stream on social media and the recording, and I'll get you guys here in the Discord, the live stream recording for that. So let me end that. Thank you all for watching on social media, and I'll see you guys back here on Thursday morning. Remember that link I just put in the chat. Go ahead and grab that. Just as an email sign up. We'll send you a reminder email with Lee's live stream on Thursday morning. He does the same stuff. He's just he's a little bit more beginner friendly, and he's got a better accent than I do. So let me end the stream here.